So, I think I got some stuff figured out. I've been trying to figure out this, what this keyboard thing is. The keyboard with the stuff in it. And I think the conclusion I've come to was this keyboard with a Arduino and USB hub and a Raspberry Pi. So when I get stalled on something, I usually go for MVP, minimum viable product. So in this case, that is a keyboard with a cable that I can plug into a computer system and use as a keyboard, or swing the cable around and plug it into itself, basically, the Raspberry Pi, and use that as input. Now, I'm also realizing that we can share power, although I'm not sure how many amps we need or get from a USB plug. But that might be an easy test. The idea was then that the original idea was that the keyboard is attached to, has the Nano in it, has a display screen, OLED display, the rotary encoder, and a Raspberry Pi, and a Bluetooth module, and you can just kind of flip between all those things. And originally the idea was that it would have a little hard switches that you would flip back and forth to turn things on and off, that would run either off battery power or off the power provided by the keyboard or by the USB connection. So, first thought I had was changing that into something that's transistor controlled, and then just using the Arduino as a menu, basically, because the Arduino can run low power usage, and it can do power control so that it's off, doing nothing basically, and then you click it and it comes out of low power state and wakes up, and then you can turn the switch, turn the dial to your menu selection of, power the keyboard, click, keyboard gets power through a transistor, power the Raspberry Pi, click, Raspberry Pi gets power through the transistor, connect keyboard to Raspberry Pi, click, input from the keyboard goes straight to the Raspberry Pi. So something like that's pretty interesting. The Raspberry Pi, I'm still kind of exploring all this stuff. I did set up a proof of concept with a transistor, and realized that those transistors do 200 milliamps, which is not even close to what the Raspberry Pi needs. So there are like, what are they called? MOSFET Darlington transistors that work, that would be appropriate and have a good amount of power, amps rather. My butter sandwich. It seems weird, but the more fats I eat, the skinnier I get. Just not good for exposition. So yeah, the transistor firing works well. Still have to kind of work up a menu system, but I'll figure that out. So interfacing with the Raspberry Pi, like, part of the problem is that the Raspberry Pi, like, I can't integrate a screen. I don't know how to make things visible from the Raspberry Pi. As much as I'd like it to be headless, there's still going to be instances where we have to log into it and look at what's going on and interact either on a GUI level or on a command line level. So there's actually a pretty elegant solution to this. Oh, and a little side solution too that I found out. Powering the Pi. You can set up the Pi, the 0W, since it has wireless built in. You can set it up to have to be an access point, and then you can connect to its wireless network. So what do you connect with? You connect your phone. So you use your phone to VNC, or to connect to the wireless network of the Raspberry Pi. Then you VNC to the Raspberry Pi, and now you've got a GUI, or you SSH it to the Raspberry Pi, whichever. The point is that you can connect to it with a device you're already carrying and do stuff to it. And this actually has the bonus feature, and I have 2 Galaxy Note 2s that I'm not using. One's got a bad wireless antenna, or bad, I don't know what it's got. It won't talk to the cell network anymore, so like that's not gonna work as a cell phone, but as a just simple device that can be visual and have Android on it, it runs perfectly. The other thing I realized while I was trying to do something like this with a phone, I kept running into the problem of being able to set up the phone so that you USB to go while charging the phone. So if I want to connect a mouse and keyboard to the phone, both of those peripherals are necessarily, from as far as I can tell, powered by the phone. They must be powered by the phone. That's the spec. So that was a problem in that design. However, in this instance, it's a feature. Because I can have a phone case, one of my old Galaxy Note 2 or something, and attach the Raspberry Pi to it, let the Raspberry Pi connect to it via USB to go cable, and the Raspberry Pi gets powered by my phone. And my phone is, standard phone battery. It can be recharged. I've got extra batteries. This is the traffic. Like I said, I've got 2 Galaxy Note 2s, and I use one. One is a broken screen, no touch, but yes, Wacom. So I can still interface with it with the stylus, but I was just using it to charge the battery and a spare battery charger, basically. So then I would bring my Galaxy Note home, and it would be low on battery, and I'd pop off the battery, swap batteries, and let the other one charge in the other phone. Easy. So in this case, I've got my Galaxy Note 2 on airplane mode, with everything shut off, all the services turned off, just doing Wi-Fi, and all it needs to do is connect to the Raspberry Pi's Wi-Fi and VNC to it. That's it. Because I can Bluetooth or connect directly to the Raspberry Pi via keyboard. So I can do a VNC session on the host session, the console session, I guess you would call it. I don't know what they call it anymore. And then use my keyboard or mouse as input straight to the Raspberry Pi while I'm viewing, and only viewing. I mean, I could click if I wanted to on the phone, on the Galaxy. And if I need power, the phone provides power. I don't know how many amps, probably half an amp or something like that. But then I can swap batteries on the phone. I can recharge it with a standard connector. I've got a lot of versatility in that device. And I don't have to worry, since I've got a direct keyboard connection, I don't have the usual problem of connecting via VNC through Android, because Android catches keystrokes, intercepts keystrokes. So we can put and maybe the phone is the battery too at this point, I don't know. So the keyboard has a Raspberry Pi in it, has an Arduino in it. The Arduino, at this point for version 1, MVP, it's going to, if the keyboard's on, the Arduino's on. So I'll get them sharing power and make sure that works just fine. Because I just kind of want that feature, like yesterday. I want that. And I'm looking for which keyboard I can retrofit. I like the version 1. The 3.1 is too big for me. It's a little annoying to carry around. I'd probably get used to it, but it just seems a little annoying to carry around. Plus, it feels heavy enough. And this is an interesting thing. Well, particularly particularly with the battery, the 6,000 milliamp hour battery. It's beefy, and it's beefy enough that like I want the case to be stronger. So I don't know. I keep looking at the the Leopold with the Bluetooth connector in it, and the Bluetooth connector gets worn out pretty soon, and I think that's just a function of the Leopold. I don't think it has. Actually, I'm positive it doesn't have any kind of power saving feature or minimum power usage. It probably gets as much power as it can in order to get the most efficient running speed and polling rate and all that. So it's just that the case is so nice. Like, that feels solid. I don't know if it counts as aesthetics, but like the seams on it. And you saw me take it apart. That thing's tough to take apart. And it's all plastic snaps. And there's just, it's not seamless. I mean, you saw me. I could barely fit a credit card into it. It's high quality. And I'd like to have that in a build if it's heavy. If it's light, then it can be a little, you know, it can lack rigidity. But like if I pick up the Signum 3.1, and this is my argument for travel boards just in general, Signum 3.1 is a bit too big for that, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'll go with a thicker board and see if that helps on the next version. So the next version actually is probably going to be another copy or another model of the Signum 3, and it will not have a number row. I'll give it more thumb options. It'll be like the first prototype but corrected, with the 5 switch slots and the 6 switch slots on the outsides and the bottoms. So I'll be able to set it up exactly like I like it. The first one was fine. It's just those pinkies, or the outside, not the pinkies, but that one far left and far right columns. Yeah. Then I'm going to eliminate the thumb hole. I know it's hard. It's hard to admit, but I'm going to make room. I'm probably going to have to move the controller up a little bit, but I'm going to make room for the OLED display and the rotary encoder. And it's probably going to sit on top, which is going to be a little annoying, but it doesn't matter. And all those add-ons will be optional, so you'll just have header pins or slots for header pins there. You don't have to use them, obviously, but I will.